All right, guys, welcome, welcome. We are here for day one of the Vitality Challenge, and we're going to be talking about probiotics. So before we get started, my name is Elizabeth. Welcome to those of you who are new here. This Facebook group is normally called Living Vibrantly, which is my business, Living Vibrantly Wellness Warriors. And hey, Nina. So this is my free community. It's ongoing, and I'll change the title based on the topic of the current month's challenge. So just so you can be prepared for that. And if you've been in this group for a while, it's probably gone through a bunch of different names based on the different topics that we have gone through. So in terms of why we're here and what is the point of all this, I know sometimes people wonder that, like, why are you offering this for free? So essentially, I usually offer one of these challenges every month, and it's just intended to be a way for people to get to know me a little bit and get to know what I offer. And obviously, also for you guys to learn, right? There's always some information that I'm presenting or some topic that we're working through together. So I do want you to get something out of it. But in terms of like, why am I giving this away for free? It really is just a way that people can get to know me. And some people do go on to work with me in a paid program. So that's kind of the point of it. Like, give something, get something a little bit, right? Hopefully that makes sense. But it's just meant to be like an appetizer to then the main course, which would be going on to work with me potentially. But if you don't, that's okay with me too. You're welcome to obviously watch all the videos and just get as much as you can out of this week. So as far as my background, I am a coach with Beachbody, and so if you were to go on to work with me, it would be with a specific Beachbody plan. Those are all designed by nutritionists and registered dietitians. But my own knowledge is pretty much based in, well, it's based in the training that Beachbody gives us, but also just in my own research. So everything I'm presenting here is my opinion. I feel that it's a pretty well-informed opinion, but, you know, I just want to give that disclaimer that reasonable, educated people can disagree on some of what I'm going to present here. So my number one recommendation is always to do the research for yourself. Like, don't just take what I tell you at face value. Obviously, I'm telling you what I believe, but I always think it's helpful to go and read as much as you can and form your own opinion. You know, get to know the conflicting information that may be out there and decide what you think, and maybe try some things and decide what works for you and your body. In terms of kind of the logistics of the week, how this is going to work. First of all, yes, I'm sitting on the floor in my basement. I know, kind of goofy that way. It's just how I'm comfortable. But so yes, this is my video studio. There's going to be a live video every day, 8 o'clock Central. And I'm also going to be uploading a program guide for you. And it's going to have in bullet point format everything that I'm presenting to you in this video, so you'll get something you can take away. You can print it out if you want, or save it on your hard drive, and it's also going to have links for further reading, some articles that I thought were helpful as I was doing my research and preparing this material for you. Obviously they're just starting points, and you can Google any of these topics and find a million more articles, but I linked some things for you that I thought were especially useful, so you don't have to sort through as many articles if you do want to read more. And then I also did just want to say, in each one of these videos, I am going to be mentioning a product, and this is a business for me. There are products that I represent, and I use them personally because I feel they're the best, you know, convenient, high quality, affordable solutions I mean, not necessarily the best, but they're the solutions that I use because I think they're a good solution. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm sure there are others that are good also out there, but these are the ones that I use and I represent. So I'm going to be announcing some discounts for you guys if you buy during the duration of this program. The videos are going to be up through April 1st. And so it's just a special thank you for being part of this, and a little bit of incentive to act quickly if you do want to try some of the products that I mentioned. But there is going to be a lot of information presented. I just wanted to tell you that up front, that, you know, I don't want people to feel like it's a bait and switch at all. Like I said, this is a business for me. I earn money at it, but if you stay and listen and you don't buy anything, that's totally cool with me too. I do it because I love it and I'm passionate about the topic. But if you do want to try some of the products, I also would be grateful for that. I encourage you to ask questions. Now, for whatever reason in this group, people are shy about commenting on the videos. And so normally I have a participation prize every time that you interact, every time you leave a question or message me, like any way that you indicate that you're interacting with the content. You watch the videos. For this challenge, I'm just going to ask you to tell me one thing you learned from the video. So if you want to message that to me, or you want to comment on the video, they'll both count. Every day that you complete is an entry, and at the end I'm going to draw one person, and what you're going to be receiving is one of the supplements of your choice, probably something that I talked about during this week, and also an evaluation of a food log, so you can keep track of your food for a few days or even up to a week if you want, and send it to me. And I'll take a look at it, and either, I can just give you kind of some basic observations, or if you have a specific issue that you're struggling with, I can make a recommendation after seeing the food log, how you might start to address that. So that's going to be the prize, and basically so these videos are Monday through Friday, they'll stay up through Sunday, April 1st, that's about a week plus. Once, like after the last video goes up, you'll still have a week after that to complete, to watch them, and then they'll be coming down and I'll be closing the contest and announcing the winner. So those are the rules. Any questions? Obviously, it's great if you can get on live and, ask questions, interact. I love that, but they will be available as a replay again through April 1st. All right, so let's hear anyone watching who has had digestive problems ever. Hey, Jaden, thanks for getting on. Who's had digestive problems and who uses a probiotic currently? Leave me some comments, let me know. So what is the point of probiotics? Let's get into it. First and foremost, kind of the reason to take them that most of us are familiar with is they help our digestion, right? So things like if you don't go regularly, basically constipation or diarrhea, the two extremes. I'm just out with it, I'll just say it. There's no need to be so like squeamish. These are just, realities of life, right? We all poop. So constipation or diarrhea, whichever one you may be dealing with, probiotics may help just make everything regular. But there are other roles that they play in the body that I think are less well recognized. So one of those is assimilation, helping us absorb the nutrients from the food that we eat. Probiotics play a crucial role in that. So our gut environment it's kind of like a tug of war between good bacteria and bad bacteria. So we all are born with good bacteria, and then over the course of life, the food that we eat impacts the gut environment, but the big culprit is antibiotics. So if you have been on antibiotics, who here has ever taken antibiotics? They can wipe out not only the bad bacteria that they're trying to fight, that's why you were sick, but the antibiotics can also wipe out the good bacteria in your gut. So especially after a course of antibiotics, or start now if you have taken antibiotics in the past, but I do believe it's important to replenish those good bacteria, and probiotics can do that for you. So again, they play an important role, crucial role in digestion, assimilation, and also in immune function. And more research is indicating that it's not just like fighting off the common cold, but that the gut environment plays a role also in chronic conditions, chronic diseases, autoimmune conditions also. And so, this is one of those things where, like, I mean, none of us ever really know. It's not like we can like biopsy the bacteria in our stomach unless if you have, I mean, maybe I think it's an endoscopy, right? If you've had one of those, then maybe you know a little bit more about your gut environment, but most of us are just pretty much guessing. But that's why I think, I mean, it can't hurt to take a probiotic, right? And I think in most cases, for most people, it's going to be helpful. So you'll see when I put up the program guide, I'm going to post it right after this. And there's one of the articles that I've linked for you that really breaks down all of the different strains and just what is known about all of them and kind of their effects in the body. So, and it kind of lists, or it breaks them down into categories of like, if you're only going to take one strain, here's your list. And then if you're taking a few strains, you might want to add these in too. So I thought that one was really cool. If you ever go to like a natural food store or even I think the supplement aisle at Whole Foods, I mean, it's been a while since I've looked because I get my probiotics in Shakeology, which is what I'm going to tell you about in a minute here. But if you go to a natural food store, most of the probiotics are in the refrigerated section. So there's a reason for that. A lot of the strains need to be refrigerated in order to remain active. Now, if you look also at the articles that I linked for you, a lot of what's on, I mean, some of the analyses that I've seen were of like probiotics in Walmart. I mean, not to rip on Walmart because there were other stores mentioned in the same article, but that they tested them. And first of all, what's on the label was not the probiotics that are actually, like there was a mismatch. There were some strains in the pill, but it wasn't what was on the label. And then in some cases, they're being sold as shelf stable, right? They're not refrigerated, but the strains that are in there are not shelf stable. So you want to make sure you are getting them from a trusted source. And I guess, you know, just do your research and make sure that you're not throwing your money down the drain because probiotics can be expensive. You know, especially like some of the third-party testing that's been done is basically exposing kind of the worst offenders in terms of the stores that were selling and the brands that were not what they, not what was on the label. But take a look at that and at least you know what to avoid, hopefully. I mean, and who knows, like maybe they've changed it since the report came out. It's really hard to tell, but I would ask at your natural food store. They probably have information on testing as well. And like I said, just if you're, because these are a supplement that are not that cheap, so if you're spending money on it, just, you know, do a little homework and be as secure as you can that you're actually getting what you're paying for. All right, so as I mentioned, the probiotic supplement that I use, and after I'll move on from this, I'll tell you about some things, some ways to get probiotics that don't require taking a supplement. So that's going to be the last part of the video. But what I use is Shakeology, and it is a protein shake, but it also has probiotics, and it has some other herbs that you're going to be hearing about tomorrow. But the probiotic part of it is one of the few that actually are shelf stable. And I was going to have the guide here, and I didn't pull it up, and now I can't remember the name of the strain, but it is in the program guide for you. Oh my gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue. I'm sorry, guys. But I did include an article specifically about that strain so you can see for yourself scientific studies to back it up. But basically, the physical structure of this particular bacterium makes it so that it can survive stomach acid. That's a piece that I haven't talked about yet, but this is actually something else to consider. So some of the probiotics that are added to, for example, yogurt, are just killed off by stomach acid. So they never make it to the small intestine where they are needed for all of these functions that I mentioned. So that's another thing to consider. Look at which strains are they shelf stable? If not, make sure they're refrigerated, and then is it a strain that is going to survive the environment of the stomach? Because if not, then there's kind of no point in consuming it. So those are the good qualities of this strain whose name I can't remember right now. not that prepared tonight. Sorry, but you have it in writing. But that's why I think, you know, Shakeology has, it's not the cheapest supplement out there, but it's very good quality. And I've done research on like the individual ingredients, and there's a reason that each one is in there. It's doing something specific. That specific type was chosen for a specific reason. So yes, Bacillus coagulans, thank you. I was like, oh boy, I knew it was a B. Okay. So yeah, so that's why, you know, Shakeology for me is just super easy, and it has a lot of things in one. So now if you're not wanting to buy a supplement, you can get probiotics in yogurt. Again, well, there's a lot of these kind of trendy, like added probiotics type of yogurt that I've seen on shelves lately, but yogurt always had probiotics. So don't be fooled by the marketing. I'm not saying that the added probiotics are not worth it necessarily, but they might not be. So take a look at what strains are in there, compare it to, have like one of these articles open when you go to the grocery store. And pretty much any yogurt with live active cultures is probably going to be good, but see which cultures it has in it. They'll be listed right on the label. Look at the label on the back, more so than the front, like marketing part of the package. You also can make your own yogurt at home, and I included in your program guide an article with instructions for that. I have never done it, but my stepmom does it all the time, and she loves it, and she says it's super easy. If you've ever made yogurt, let me know. I'd love to know. Yes, Nina, that was the right strain. Thank you. All right, so then the last thing that I'll mention, the last source of probiotics, not involving a supplement, is fermented foods like sauerkraut and pickled vegetables. But when we say pickles, we got to be careful, because if they have vinegar, it's a different kind of pickling. So they call it lacto-fermented, and it is something lacto-fermentation, the pickling without vinegar. This is something you can do at home, and I included an article on that for you too. You can you can ferment, you can make your own fermented salsa. I've done that before. You can ferment your carrots, or like any vegetable, really. It's been a long time, but it was pretty easy. And the article that I linked for you has some suggestions and instructions just as far as like how to know if the batch went bad and not to eat it. But basically it would smell terrible. Otherwise, like it smells a little funky. That's what you want. It's that fermentation, and it's a good thing. So I included some nice DIY at-home options for you. Let me know if you've ever tried that before. The fermented salsa was good. It was like a little bit, I mean, it just tasted like salsa, but it was like a little bit bubbly. Had that little zing to it. But if you like doing things for yourself at home, I included some fun options for you. All right, so as I mentioned, on all of these supplements that I am mentioning in the videos, there are going to be special discounts for this challenge. And so for Shakeology, I'm doing a $20 discount on new home direct orders. If you are an existing customer, you can give that discount to a friend if you want, or I will give you that bonus if a friend enrolls, like if a friend orders home direct. Basically, if you tell your friend, hey, this is what I use and I like it and here's why, and they decide to order on home direct through me. So you can basically decide if you want to split 10 and 10, or if you want to keep the 20, or if you want to give them the discount. So that's what I'm doing, and I'll put up a link for you guys after this as well. It's going to be in the comments, and then I'll see you back here tomorrow. If there are no questions, tomorrow's topic is adaptogens, which is a fun one, and I have a lot of information for you in your book, so I have to kind of figure out if I'm going to go through it all or not. Let me know if you have a preference, if you want me to, like, because there's I don't know, more than a dozen, I think, different adaptogen herbs, and yeah, this is something that I find really fascinating. So let me know if you want me to go into like all of the details, or just give you the bird's eye view. All right, any questions on probiotics before we wrap up? Good night, Nina. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.